Look what it took. It's gonna damn near make you crazy, but you gotta push. Front of the spot, gun in the bush. Top of the world now, looking down. This how I feel, this how I look.
To the table, and it's a risk fight. But I can beat that guy. But no, in that way, I always did.
Dude, it's your boy Wavy. Stay Wavy TV. Back at y'all with another one. Let's get it, man. So Saul Canelo Alvarez, he actually admitted that the reason why he's demanding $200 million to fight David Benavidez is because he's a risk. And he also said that, he knows if he takes a fight with David Benavidez, he's going to come into the fight 20 or 25 pounds heavier than him. And he believes that he could beat David Benavidez. He just can't do it in the way that he used to do. So I believe that Canelo Alvarez is indicating to the world that he is no longer in his prime. He is no longer going in there and knocking guys out like he used to. He's not going in there breaking people's orbital bones like he used to, right? Canelo Alvarez has actually, he's actually admitted and acknowledged that he's not the same fighter that he used to be. And David Benavidez is still young. David Benavidez, I believe he's 25 or 26. The oldest probably 27, right? So he's just in his prime. He's fresh. He's young. And David Benavidez is a big dude. I actually believe that David Benavidez was weight bullying in his weight class that he was in at 168, because when we seen his first fight at 175 against a boxer named Dick, David didn't look as dominating as we're used to him seeing. He was throwing a bunch of combinations, and there was no point in the fight where he looked like he hurt his opponent. It was actually looking like it was David that was the one that was getting hurt, right? David obviously won that fight by unanimous decision, but there was points in that fight where I saw David in the corner breathing hard. He had a lot of bruising on his face. And there was actually a point in the fight where David Benavidez was actually backing up. Like, damn, this nigga really hit me with some shit. No diddy. You know what I'm saying? So I got to shout out Canelo Alvarez because he's aware, right? A lot of boxers, they would never admit this. They would never admit that they're not in their prime no more. They would never admit that they view somebody as a threat. And, Canelo is letting the world know, like, look, guys, like, I fought a lot of people that y'all wanted to see me fight. I fought Floyd Mayweather. I fought the quote-unquote boogeyman at the time, Triple G, right? Now, a lot of people like myself believe that Canelo did lose the first fight to Triple G, and then he won the second fight. The third fight, nobody asked for it. And we have to also acknowledge that Canelo Alvarez was on steroids, right? He popped dirty for steroids, right? Before the Triple G fight, right? So we have to acknowledge these things, right? Like, this is what happens when boxers step up their level of competition and they get in there with somebody that they believe could possibly beat them. Because when a boxer loses, guess what happens? The money goes down. They're not going to get paid as much as they did before, right? So Canelo, he lost to Floyd. He arguably lost to Triple G. He redeemed himself with that because he fought him 2 more times, proved he was the better boxer, right? He arguably lost to Laura. I believe he lost to Israel Andy Laura. Right? Shout out to the Cuban monster, Israel Laura, who's fighting Danny Garcia soon. He lost to Dimitri Bivol at 175, right? But he did beat, I believe he beat, who was it? Rocky Fielding at 170. He fought some dude nobody gave a fuck about at 175, and he won that. But he lost to Bivol, right? So Canelo was aware, like, David Benavidez is a beast, right? But Canelo did say that David Benavidez did not look good at 175. He watched his fight at 175 against Dick, and he believes that that's pretty much the weight class that David should have been in this whole time. And he didn't look as dominating, right? Because like I said, David is a big dude, and when we finally seen him get in the ring with somebody that's the same size as him, he didn't look good. And another thing I noticed with David's first fight at 175, no diddy shit, his body looked terrible. Like, I saw no muscle, no six-pack, stomach looked a little fat, no biceps or nothing. Like, when you're fighting at a weight class like 175 pounds, that's light heavyweight, right? Like, when you fight at that weight class, bro, you want to put on muscle. You don't just want to put on fat and just gain weight just to fit the weight class. You want to put on muscle so you have power, so you can absorb punches, right? And it just looked like David Benavidez, it looked like he was just focused on just making the weight and just not putting on muscle and not really working on his physical fitness, bro. Like really making sure his strength and conditioning was on point, right? So with that being said, man, I think that's going to play a huge role. If Canelo and David ever fights, I 100% believe that Canelo is a stronger boxer than David Benavidez. I believe that Canelo punches harder than David Benavidez. And I actually think Canelo Alvarez would beat David Benavidez, in my opinion, especially if it's at 175. Now, if that fight happens at 168, that is a very, very close fight. And the only reason why I would say David would win at 168 is because David is bigger than Canelo. He throws a lot of combinations. The only thing he doesn't have is the power. That's what worries me about David, guys. It's the power. But if he's hitting Canelo with a bunch of combinations and, right, he's walking Canelo down, I can see David winning that, bro. I can see David pulling it off. But I know for a fact David can't knock Canelo out. That's one thing I'm not worried about. I just can't see David Benavidez knocking Canelo out, right? I can see him beating Canelo, right, in the same fashion that Bivol did, but I just can't see him knocking out Canelo. I could actually see Canelo dropping David on his ass. I could see David Benavidez getting overly cocky, right? Like once he start landing them combinations, I can see David get overly cocky just like Jaime Munguia did. And I could see David getting his ass dropped. You feel me? So let me know what you guys think about this, man. Do you guys think we're ever going to get this fight? Canelo has also said that there's a possibility that him fighting David would be his last fight before he retires. I think that makes the most sense. I don't think we're definitely, it's obvious we're not getting this fight this year. I don't think we're going to get the fight next year. Especially because David is at 175 now. And look, man, I hope we can get this fight just for the sport of boxing. And I think that Canelo should pass the torch, man. If Canelo's on his way out and he's already telling people he's not in his prime anymore, just pass the torch to David, man. Let me know what you guys think about this video. It's your boy Wavy. Subscribe, thumbs up, leave a comment.
Home, left a lot of